About 5 months ago, I booked a one-way flight to Colombia to start my 8-week solo trip in Latin America. I've never traveled alone and I don't speak much Spanish, but hey, how hard can it be? My trip started out on Monday, 5th of August in Glasgow, Scotland. My parents dropped me off at Glasgow Airport and we said our final goodbyes for the next 2 months. I was pretty sad to be leaving, but also really excited for the rest of my trip. Clearly, that got to my head though, because within an hour of being in the airport, I had lost my bag. I had been walking through the shops and doing a bit of shopping when I got to checkout and realised, where is my hand luggage? Turns out I had left it at security. Thankfully, it was still there when I went back, but I think the whole experience taught me a lesson which I needed to learn right at the start of my trip. And for the rest of my time, I made sure I always had all my bags with me. My flight from Glasgow to London was about an hour and a half, and then I had a 4 hour layover at London Heathrow. The 4 hours went by pretty quickly. I just got something to eat and then spent some time on my phone and reading my book. And then I boarded my 10-hour flight to Colombia. Today was my first full day in Bogota, so after I got dressed, I decided to do a little bit of journaling. I was feeling pretty anxious being here alone. I haven't ever traveled alone before, and Colombia isn't really a beginner destination. So, yeah, I was feeling pretty anxious. I had wanted to go out into the main town and do a walking tour, but I was too stressed out to do it, so instead, I decided to go for a walk around my neighborhood and get something to eat. About 2 weeks before coming on this trip, I bought my first ever digital camera. It's a Fujifilm X-T20 and it's the first camera I've ever had. So I wanted to test it out during my walk and do a bit of street photography. At first, I was really anxious, but just walking around and taking photographs helped me feel a lot more calm, and I'm really glad I went out and I really enjoyed it. So, hopefully, you enjoyed the photos as well because I love how they turned out.
Que necesitas para poder ayudarte en las clases. Bien, yo te recomiendo en las clases de peruana tomar desde básico 2 más. Eso significa que vas a repasar un poco algunos verbos irregulares. Bien. Sí.
It's currently, well, it's almost 4 o'clock here in Bogota, but I'm too scared to go back outside, so I'm just gonna stay inside the rest of the day, and I'll get dinner at my hotel. But I'm just gonna sort through my photos. I've got this little SD card reader that connects to the SD card, so I can just like look through my photos on my iPad and download them from there and start editing and looking through the best ones. So if I just go to my files, all my photos are there. And these are the raw files, but I actually know what to like do with them. But I'm just gonna keep them anyway. I don't really edit the photos, I just use a film simulation and they come out looking quite nice, so I'll probably never be editing on like Lightroom or anything like that. I'm not at that stage of photography. Don't know if I'll ever will be, but I'm happy with the photos as long as they come out looking cute. Look how pretty. I'll share the rest of them later. My hotel had a really nice restaurant downstairs, so I just ordered from there. There was obviously no halal option, so I got this vegetarian rice. I think it was coconut butter rice with a miso butter pumpkin and roasted vegetables. It didn't sound like much, but it was honestly amazing. And then I was going to have one of the yogurts that I bought earlier, but it looked a little bit dodgy, so I ended up not eating it. But dinner was great. The next day, I was feeling a little bit less anxious and more excited to explore, so I decided to go on the walking tour that I had planned to do yesterday. My hotel booked me a taxi, so I know it was safe because I've heard that taxis in Colombia can be a bit dodgy sometimes. But this one was fine. He did drive a little bit crazy, but he got me there on time.
2.5 kilometers. That's actually quite a good amount of time for the short distance. Because in a supermarket, there are no brands of chicha as well. This is made in an artisanal way and sold in soda bottles. It can be Coca-Cola, it can be the squares are okay. Okay, not the squares. Yeah, no, Nativo. So for the ones that are looking for that specific kind of foods, right? Reasonable thing for the size of the city. So group, now here we have especially the Pacific district. It is one of the steepest in the old town. So well, here we
After my tour, I kind of got stranded in the city because I couldn't get away home. I didn't have enough money for a taxi, and I didn't want to get an Uber because there wasn't much places that it could stop to pick me up, and also there were a lot of police around. I eventually did find somewhere that I could buy this Tiave card, which you need to take the bus, so I managed to get home okay. I was feeling really tired because I hadn't really eaten all day. One of the guys on my tour told me that it's because of the altitude. Bogota is 2,600 meters above sea level, so going from almost nothing to 2,600 meant that I was feeling the effects of the altitude, and one of those effects is a loss of appetite. I went all out today.
Window and middle seat.
Yeah.